The Eagles' defense is the terror of the NFC in 2026, my friend. In the third year of the Vic Fangio era, Philadelphia has the most dominant pass-rushing line in the league, a second-year linebacker who projects to be one of the breakout players of the season, and a cornerback duo that is going to give rival quarterbacks nightmares. On paper, this could be the most talented defensive group Fangio has ever had at his disposal since arriving in Philadelphia. But there is one position, just one, where the answer is still not clear. A position that was held for the last 3 years by a player who received his walking papers to another city this offseason, leaving a void that nobody inside the locker room can fill automatically. A position where a promising second-year player will need to prove that the injury that ended his season left no lasting damage. And a competition that, according to the Eagles' own defensive pass game coordinator, is completely wide open. Who is going to be the starting safety alongside Drew Mukuba in 2026? I am going to walk you through everything about this battle that will define a crucial piece of the Eagles' defensive puzzle, why the departure of the previous starter is a real loss for this scheme, and who has the best shot at winning that spot before the season kicks off. But first, if you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this kind of tactical detail can be the difference between defending the Super Bowl title and going home before the time is right. To understand the real weight of this question, you need to know what the Eagles lost in the 2026 offseason. Reed Blankenship, an undrafted free agent who came out of Middle Tennessee in 2022 without a single dollar of meaningful guarantee, and became one of the pillars of the Super Bowl LIX championship defense, signed a 3-year, $24.75 million contract with the Houston Texans in March of 2026. In 4 seasons with the Eagles, Blankenship accumulated 308 tackles, 9 interceptions, 23 passes defended, and became what Nick Sirianni himself described as the quarterback of the defense, the guy who organized everyone, made the calls, and kept the secondary aligned on the same page. In 2025, even with a below-average PFF coverage grade, he logged more than 1,000 defensive snaps for the first time in his career. The leadership he represented does not show up in any box score, and now it is no longer in Philadelphia. The man who was supposed to occupy that space naturally is Drew Mukuba, selected in the second round of the 2025 NFL Draft out of the University of Texas, who entered his rookie season and quickly showed the Eagles had made an excellent pick. Mukuba started 10 of the 11 games he played, recorded 46 tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 passes defended, and occupied 93% of the team's defensive snaps, the 4th highest volume among all defensive rookies in the NFL in 2025. In just his second game in the league, he had already intercepted Patrick Mahomes. At the height of his rookie season, he was considered one of the most promising young safeties in the entire NFL. And then, in Week 11 against the Dallas Cowboys, on a George Pickens play in the 4th quarter, Mukuba suffered a serious injury, fractured his right ankle, underwent surgery, and his season ended prematurely. He never came back. The Eagles moved forward, reached the Super Bowl, and won, but they did it without Mukuba. Now, in 2026, he returns fully recovered and ready to reclaim his starting role. The question is, who lines up alongside him? That is where the competition that defensive pass game coordinator Joe Casper described as genuinely open comes into play. The 2 primary candidates for the spot are Marcus Epps and Michael Carter. Epps is not a new face in this context. On the contrary, he is a veteran who knows Fangio's system better than anyone else in the group, having been a starter for the Eagles before Blankenship's emergence, and returning to take important snaps down the stretch of the 2025 season when the team needed stability in the secondary. Casper was direct in praising Epps, saying he had been exceptional and had a great finish to the year with the Eagles. That kind of declaration from a coordinator about a player in an open competition is not accidental. It is a signal that Epps is currently ahead in the staff's thinking, at least for now. Michael Carter, on the other hand, is described by Casper as an extremely versatile piece, the type of player a scheme like Fangio's loves to have, because he can be deployed in multiple functions depending on the opponent and the formation. Carter does not have the same history in this system as Epps, but his ability to play in different positions within the secondary may be exactly what the coaching staff is looking for to maximize the group's tactical flexibility. But the story does not end with those 2. Casper made it clear that the competition is broader than just the 2 frontrunners. Andre Sam, who spent the majority of the last 2 seasons on the Eagles' practice squad, is described by the coordinator as someone who continues to develop and grow within the program, and who, having arrived undrafted, went through a different learning curve but is gaining the coaching staff's confidence. J.T. Gray, a veteran special teams specialist who signed with the Eagles, gets a real opportunity to show he can contribute on the defensive side of the ball beyond his already proven work on kickoff and punt coverage. And 3 lesser-known names round out the group. 7th-round pick Cole Wisniewski, who missed all of the spring work open to reporters with an undisclosed injury, but was on the practice field absorbing the scheme mentally. And undrafted players Kapina Gushikin and Maximus Pulley, whom Casper described as raw skills worth watching at training camp. The overall message is that Howie Roseman will be watching everything closely, and if none of the internal candidates separates himself during camp and the preseason, he will not hesitate to look outside the organization for answers. The bigger picture here is this: the safety position does not exist in isolation on this defense. With the arrival of cornerback Rick Woolen, the dynamic around Cooper DeJean changes completely. In the 2025 season, DeJean, one of the most versatile and talented players in the secondary, was playing as an outside cornerback in the team's base defense, which the Eagles use roughly 10 to 15 times per game, before sliding inside to the slot. With Woolen taking over the outside cornerback role, DeJean will drop back into the deep part of the field alongside Mukuba in base looks before sliding down. That means DeJean will be covering more ground as a deep safety, and whoever ends up next to Mukuba as the second official safety will need to be capable of managing deep zone coverage responsibilities in harmony with DeJean and with the rotations Fangio demands. This is not just any position. It requires football intelligence, communication ability, and reliability in man coverage when the scheme calls for it. That was exactly the profile Blankenship had in abundance, and whoever wins this competition will need to reproduce it. The broader defensive context is that Fangio is in the 3rd year of his cycle with this group, and the potential is genuinely frightening. In his first 2 years, the Eagles' defenses ranked 2nd and 8th in the league in EPA per play. They were the overall best defense in the NFL in 2024 and the 5th best scoring defense in 2025, with Jonathan Greenard reinforcing the pass rush line alongside Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat, with Jihad Campbell stepping into a full-time starting role at linebacker, and with DeJean firmly established as one of the best versatile cornerbacks in the league. The ceiling for this defense in 2026 is extremely high. The safety spot next to Mukuba is the last missing piece of the puzzle. Whoever fills it will be playing alongside one of the best defensive groups in the NFL, and will carry the responsibility of performing at that same level. With Reed Blankenship in Houston, Mukuba returning from a fractured ankle, and a real competition underway among Marcus Epps, Michael Carter, and a handful of long shots who could turn heads at training camp, the question left for you, Eagles fan, is direct. Who do you want to see win this spot and line up next to Mukuba on the 2026 championship defense? Marcus Epps, with his experience inside Fangio's system, or Michael Carter, with the versatility that a modern defensive scheme demands? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.